Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to ABS News Talk with yours truly, Chris Anu, as usual, coming to you from the great state of Texas, Houston, Texas, to be precise. Thank you for tuning in. If you are joining by way of social media, that is Facebook, YouTube, please do us the favor by hitting the share button and, of course, the subscribe button if you are joining by way of YouTube. We want to welcome all of you who are tuned in from all of Africa by way of satellite television. I come to you tonight with what is going on in La République du Cameroon, the neighboring country, they say, to Ambazonia, southern Cameroons. Cameroon has been locked down, completely paralyzed. That is the news emerging from there as I come to you tonight. Transportation from border to border has been shut down, paralyzed by forces fighting for what they believe is the retention of the vote stolen from them on October 12th and proclaimed yesterday by the Constitutional Council of Cameroon. I will also be talking tonight about a revelation, a confession from the Constitutional Council Judge Clement Atangana, the man who yesterday proclaimed the results of the elections. And then when a few minutes after to celebrate, and in the course of celebration, he publicly confessed that he nurtured the courage to proclaim the results as given him in favor of the ruling party, the CPDM. Talking about, of course, Paul Biya. We have a footage of that confession. I believe that many of you out there have seen that confession. I will also be bringing to you what that means, what that confession means, and what the opposition, Issa Chiroma, and the rest of the Cameroon people can do with it. Please stay tuned and make sure you hit your share button. Hit your share button, please, as I come to you in a few seconds, beginning with updates of what is happening. The reports from the ground, from across the country, what is happening in Cameroon as we speak. Please stay put. I will be right back.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, once more, thank you for tuning in. I will begin tonight with what is happening in La République du Cameroon as of today. That is starting Sundays, October the 26th, through the proclamation of the election results yesterday. And up to this moment, here in Houston, Texas, it is a few minutes, it is actually quarter to 3 p.m. In Washington, D.C., it is quarter to 4 p.m. and in Africa, West Africa in particular, it is 8:45 p.m. That means I am bringing you updates of what happened through today in all of Cameroon following the proclamation of the elections. Victory, of course, given to Paul Biya as winner of that election. As you can see on your screen, you see the carnage happening on the ground in Cameroon. People pouring out in their thousands to protest what they believe is a rigging and a fraud perpetuated by the authorities to steal their vote and disenfranchise them. Unfortunately, we see the judge of the Constitutional Council adding his voice to the confession that the elections were indeed stolen. Elections were indeed stolen. That is what is coming on from Cameroon. But again, I will bring you updates what is happening or transpiring on the ground since yesterday. That is the aftermath of the proclamation of the results yesterday. That is the report I am about to bring to you at this moment. It spans the entire territory. That is a report I am bringing to you now, ladies and gentlemen. The second day of nationwide unrest following the Constitutional Council's proclamation of Paul Biya as winner of the October 12th presidential election. Violence and disruption spread across Cameroon. Multiple news services and regional outlets, they all report that clashes between protesters and security forces left civilians dead, many dead. Security forces fired on crowds and at least several protesters were killed in Douala and other cities during large demonstrations called by the opposition. Local authorities and opposition campaigns have offered different death tallies or tolls. However, independent verification is difficult in the immediate aftermath. But a consensus among major news agencies, including international agencies, is that lethal force was used in that there were fatalities, including in Garoua, where the mayor was shot dead by unrecognized men. Regime forces have detained scores of opposition activists and local organizers in multiple cities across the country. AP and Reuters documented arrests of opposition figures and dozens of protesters. Government officials have said some detainees will face military tribunal procedures for alleged insurrection or incitement. Human rights groups, they are already warning about arbitrary detentions too across the country. Reporting from AFP, Reuters and Al Jazeera describes protesters burning tires, barricading roads, and attacking police stations in Douala. Notably, the 2nd and 6th police districts were singled out in some of their reports. Reuters and Al Jazeera also report security forces being targeted with projectiles and that police vehicles in some public buildings were damaged in places where unrest was fiercest. Local social media footage and regional outlets show smoke and fires near central locations in Yaoundé and Douala, shortly after the proclamation of the results yesterday. The protests have not been confined to one region. Major trouble spots named in reporting include Douala, which is known as the economic capital, Yaoundé, the political capital, Garoua, Marawa, and Ngaoundéré in the north, and Bafoussam in the west. That geographic spread, coast, central, and northern cities is underscored across wire reports and local eyewitnesses post. The European Union Foreign Service issued a statement yesterday taking note of the Constitutional Council's proclamation and expressing deep concern about the violent repression and the death by firearm of a number of civilians. The European Union called for accountability, transparency, and justice, and urged the release of those arbitrarily detained since the elections by the regime. That public diplomatic admonition came within 24 hours of the protests. Opposition leader Issa Chiroma, who publicly declared himself the people's choice prior to the Constitutional Council's decision, has not only rejected the official results, but has encouraged mass action, which is what people are saying all over the country at the moment. Chiroma's campaign described the current actions as the beginning of a concerted effort to make governance impossible for the Biya regime. That strategy includes targeted blockades of transport corridors and economic choke points. Reuters and regional reporting cite the campaign and its local organizers saying the movement aims to paralyze movement of goods and people between strategic cities, and we began seeing that today as the footage that we have will show you. Multiple local reports, campaign statements, and social media videos indicate that key routes northward, for example, the highway corridors linking Douala to Yaoundé to Ngaoundéré and onward to Marawa have been blocked, all blocked by barricades and mass protests. Video footages show movement from Ngaoundéré to Marawa is blocked, and a restriction between Douala to Yaoundé and Bafoussam is also in place. This matches social media reporting and eyewitness accounts. International outlets report roadblocks also and large-scale barricades that have severely disrupted intercity traffic as of now. These blockades are being described by opposition organizers as an economic lever to force political concessions or to overturn the results. Reports from Douala detail protester attacks on police posts, 2nd and 6th districts cited, with damage to police vehicles. In several videos circulating online, police compounds and patrol vehicles are shown under attack or burning. Journalists and wired services describe these attacks as part of the wider anger at security forces. There are also multiple local claims amplified on social media and some local outlets that a sports complex in Yaoundé, often referred to as the Palais de Sport, or other local sports facilities, were set on fire or attacked during clashes yesterday. At the time of writing this report, mainstream media have not published footage and accounts of smoke and fires near central Yaoundé locations, but stop short of a definitive catalogue of every building burn. Every building burn. For the sports complex claim, the strongest evidence remains local video and eyewitness reporting rather than a fully corroborated wired story. Regional social media posts and a handful of local websites report that bank branches and ATMs were vandalized, and some neighborhood commerce was looted or put out of business by fires and the collapse of normal activity. International outlets note economic disruption, closed markets, blocked roads, but specific nationwide tallies of bank branches damage are not yet available. The European Union publicly commented and called for accountability and intervention from Brussels, that is, on the record. A number of Western chancelleries reportedly did not attend the proclamation ceremony yesterday. Again, a number of Western embassies in Yaoundé did not attend the proclamation ceremony of yesterday. Trade and diplomatic reporting, notably Africa Intelligence and regional press, indicated that several Western embassies and delegations, including the EU delegation, Canada, the UK, Switzerland, the USA, they all boycotted or did not send their heads of mission to the results proclamation yesterday. Mainstream wire services also noted a restrained diplomatic presence or the absence of a large foreign observer contingent at the former proclamation yesterday. The absence of a number of Western ambassadors at the proclamation has been seized on by the opposition forces as a diplomatic rebuke to the regime in Yaoundé and an implicit signal of international unease. Conversely, Yaoundé is likely to present a roster of friendly states and mission representatives who did attain as a claim of legitimacy. The diplomatic posture, public statements, boycotts of ceremonial events, and consular security alerts is already shaping the international narrative. Markets, schools, and offices are closed in many cities. The security situation and arrest have forced businesses and schools to close in trouble spots, and the government has issued security notices. The U.S. Embassy issued heightened availability statements for U.S. citizens and consular guidance. Cameroon is already coping with a difficult regional security environment and internal fractures. A sustained transport blockade and a breakdown in urban order will quickly have real economic costs. Perishable goods loss, revenue loss for trade hubs like Douala and investor flight. The opposition's stated aim is to make administration and governance functionally impossible, is precisely to explore these economic vulnerabilities. If blockades persist, the economic damage will compound rapidly. Civil society leaders and commentators in Cameroon are already asking publicly why regional bodies are not louder. This question is both political and also strategic. International observers and rights groups are already calling for independent investigations. Independent investigations, as if they will do anything or change the results at all. Many in Cameroon expect more from the AU, that is the African Union, and the Economic Community of West African States, given the scale of unrest and the credible allegations of lethal force going on in the country. If the situation continues to deteriorate, or if a military seizure of power were apparent, regional bodies have historically been quicker to react with statements and sanctions. The fact that they have not yet issued emergency measures other than the EU has become part of the political debate on the ground. As of this reporting, there has been no immediate AU or ECOWAS emergency condemnation equivalent to the EU statement. Cameroon has entered a dangerous phase. That is what it is. That is what it is at this time. On day 2, that is today, after the official proclamation of the results, the pattern is already clear. Mass demonstrations called by the opposition, heavy-handed disposal tactics by security forces with lethal consequences, targeted attacks on symbols of authority, and coordinated efforts by protesters to choke transport and trade, to extract political concessions or reverse the election ruling. The EU's call for accountability and the reported partial absence of Western ambassadors at the proclamation have added a diplomatic dimension to what began as a domestic electoral dispute. Whether the unrest becomes a prolonged national crisis, an episodic bout of urban disorder, or the prelude to an even larger political rupture depends on immediate decisions by the government on use of force and detentions, by the opposition on tactics, and by regional and international actors on pressure and mediation. And that is the roundup of what is going on the ground right now as we speak, ladies and gentlemen. I am being joined by Eric Chinje, who has been fervently monitoring what has been going on since the proclamation of that election result yesterday. Eric, it's a great pleasure to have you back, sir. Your microphone appears not to be turned on.
Sorry about that.
Perfect.
I didn't turn it on. Turn it off actually because of the noises around here. So thank you very much, Chris, for having me, and greetings to everyone watching, listening, everywhere around the world.
Thank you. I am also being joined by Delphine On. Delphine On is joining the set ABS News Talk for the first time. Delphine is U.S. Army Lieutenant joining me from the state of Maryland. Delphine, it's a pleasure to have you, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for having me. So I will introduce myself whenever we're ready, but thank you. I'm happy to be here.
All right. Eric, I'm going to start with you, sir. I think you are a key observer to what has been going on the ground since the proclamation, even before that, the proclamation of the results yesterday. We see lots and lots of protests, destruction, burnings, and so on going on around the country. Now there is nationwide road or transport blockade. What can you tell us you are hearing on the ground, sir?
Well, thank you very much, Chris. I think you've given broad coverage and excellent coverage of the mood in the country and what's actually happening on the ground. There are tests in various towns and cities. But, you have to counter this with the mood of celebration, which is limited to certain homes in Yaoundé, parts of the south, and a few other places. So whilst a handful of people are celebrating, of course, the rest of the country seems to be burning. I am not sure how all of this will play out. Mr. Bia's inauguration is set for November 3, which is earlier than was planned initially. So that's obviously the decision has been made to accelerate things. And I suppose there must be some actions that need to be taken to bring down the temperature in the country. I'm not sure what the intent is, because the country is not really, I don't think it's Mr. Bia who's in control anymore. So it'll be hard to, and given the divisions within not only the ruling class in the country, within the ruling party, but there's division even within the army in the country. So it's kind of difficult to have a good reading of where Cameroon will be at the end of next week, for example, after the swearing in of Mr. Bia.
So we see a nationwide road blockade going on. You can take a look. Let's take a look at this footage that we have demonstrating what is going on currently in the country.
Et c'est comme ça. Ça va bloquer Marwa, va bloquer Garwa, va bloquer Ngaoundere, va bloquer Bertoua, va bloquer Yaoundé, Douala va bloquer Bafoussam, Bamenda, partout. À ce moment, la diaspora aussi va se lever simultanément avec le pays. C'est comme ça. Ici, tout est bloqué. Rien ne rentre, rien ne sort. Le peuple est debout, est déterminé. C'est vrai que certains ne veulent pas savoir, ne veulent pas entendre que ça commence vers le nord comme ça, parce qu'aujourd'hui, il y a un autre esprit. Ils sont en train, sur la toile, de parler d'autres choses, alors que le peuple de ce côté est debout, est déterminé. Mais ils ne veulent pas parler de ça. Mais nous allons parler. Et nous allons nous mobiliser. Voilà, le jour où nous allons lancer le mot d'ordre collectif avec des leaders vrais qui veulent le changement dans ces pays, ça va se bloquer comme ça, dans toute l'étendue du territoire camerounais. Et le peuple va descendre dans les rues. À Yaoundé, poste central. À Douala, on va bloquer tout. Et le peuple est debout. Garoua, s'il n'y a pas le préfet, vous ne pouvez pas aller à Yaoundé, vous pouvez se mobiliser devant chez le gouverneur, faire des sit-ins là-bas. S'il n'y a pas le gouverneur chez vous, c'est le préfet. Voilà, le sit-in chez les préfets, au bureau du préfet. Vous allez envahir là-bas et faire le sit-in. Et s'il n'y a pas le bureau des préfets là-bas et qu'il y a des sous-préfectures, c'est à la sous-préfecture qu'on va faire des sit-ins. Jusqu'au moment où Yaoundé va dire que Bia a fui, lui et sa bande de copains. Voilà, c'est à ce moment que nous allons rentrer à la maison. Un vent nouveau va souffler sur le Cameroun. Ici, c'est Arabinga. Tout est bloqué. Le peuple est réveillé. Le peuple du Grand Nord est debout, déterminé cette fois-ci. Voilà, à tout moment, nous allons apprendre, montrer aux gens comment on revendique, comment on manifeste, comment on grève. Voilà, jusqu'au jour où le mot d'ordre collectif va être lancé. Et c'est comme ça doit se passer. Ça, ce n'est
So, Eric, you can see what is going on there, and the commentator there.
C'est comme ça, on va isoler tous les villes jusqu'au jour du départ de Bia et sa bande de copains corrompus. Et c'est comme ça.
Nationwide blockade of road infrastructure for movement to be grinded to a standstill. Give me your opinion on that, and then, if possible, let me know how effective this can be in grinding the regime.
Well, first, I called around the country today to talk to folks on the ground, and quite interestingly, my contact in Garoua, he told me, was Garoua has been freed. And I'm wondering, what do you mean Garwa has been freed? And he said, well, the military, the unfriendly, and this points to the division within the military, the uncooperative, the unfriendly forces have been sent out of Garwa, and life is returning to normal in the city. Now, this is what my contact in the northern regional capital told me, and that they would move. So these pictures seem to be confirming it. There is a determination to bring administration to a halt and the economy to, make it impossible for the economy to function normally. And what that the involvement there is, government will not be able to collect taxes, and if this spreads beyond Garwa and to the rest of the northern region, the far north, and the other regions of the country, paralyzing the economy would bring the government to its knees. Because, as you know well, Chris, the country is broke. A lot of money was taken. I don't know why, because they knew they had envisaged the outcome of the election, and did not have to have gone through what they subjected the country to, which was taking loans of a few hundred billion francs. I think the amount came up close to $1 trillion francs in loans that were mostly used for the for election-related gadgets and so on. Obviously, it was another occasion, because they never ceased to exploit these occasions, but it was another occasion for the thugs who run the country, and there's a group of them, a group of thugs who literally run the country. We're not talking about the more decent members of the government, like the prime minister, like a few of the other ministers, but the country's essentially in the hands of a group of bandits, and them, from the wife of the president, Chantal Biya, who's protected them by that group, which includes Baboke, the guy who's the deputy director of cabinet, the secretary general in the presidency, Mr. Gongo Ferdinand, and a few others. They're the ones who held Mr. Biya hostage, and through him have taken the country hostage. And the only way we're going to ensure that the cabal does not survive is by, derailing the economy. That will happen. It started in the north. And by ensuring that their assets abroad, the assets of all that because they have vast assets abroad, real estate, financial resources in tax havens, and so on. We've got to act on that to bring this whole the whole process to a halt, and hopefully Cameroon will emerge from it with determination to rebuild.
I understand Issa Chiroma was supposed to make a statement today. Any idea whether he has?
I don't think he has, Chris. I mean, this yesterday I was told, and I got confirmation that the speech, Mr. Chiroma was going to present that speech last night. He didn't, and as we speak this evening, I am in Senegal, in Dakar, and I've been in contact with Mr. Chiroma's daughter, who's in this city, in the Senegalese capital. We've not been able to get any confirmation that speech has been delivered. So my sense is Mr. Chiroma is still it's still protected and away from, does not have access to certain facilities, like, that will allow him to record the speech and broadcast it. I think that's really the hold on everything right now.
Okay, Eric,
Déterminé cette fois-ci. Voilà, à tout moment, nous allons apprendre, montrer aux gens comment on revendique, comment on manifeste, comment on grève.
I'm getting confirmation that he made the speech, and in the course of this, we will see if we can play it to hear what he said. But look at what is going on. Is this being coordinated? This national paralysis, is it being coordinated by the campaigns, Union for Change and associated groups and Issa Chiroma? Is there coordination, or the people are just doing this on their own?
No, that's a very, very important question, Chris. And I think we ought to allay the fears of millions of Cameroonians who are hoping that this would not lead to total paralysis and maybe the partial destruction of not only the economy of the country, but a wide array of infrastructure. I don't think, that we are, it's obviously a difficult time for the country. There's no doubt about that. It's a difficult time for the country, with a government that's determined to stay in office in spite of, it's having lost the election. This, in spite of all of that, I think we're all driven by the need to ensure that this country does not collapse, that the economy does not collapse. Cameroon, in spite of everything, will continue to survive and rebuild. The challenge we have is there's no one who's in a mode to negotiate. When we're not, the opposition is not in a mood to negotiate, and the government obviously believes that it can overcome this by using strong-armed tactics. My hope and the hope of those who are working to bring a sense of normalcy to all of this is that the government will not only have rigged the elections, but cannot draw the benefits of having rigged an election. So hopefully, in the coming days, we'll either see an expansion of the we are seeing, the violence we're seeing on the streets. Will either be an expansion of that, or this room will be created for negotiation, or, negotiation, I mean the willingness to engage in some form of dialogue that will bring down the heat and hopefully get the country back on a path of negotiation and progress.
All right, Eric, please stay put in there. Apparently, Issa Chiroma has addressed Cameroonians, and we have that address here in English. One thing I love with him, what he is doing is addressing Francophones and addressing, of course, what they call Anglophones, which is very good, which is something you've never seen with the outgoing regime as he addresses it. So please, let's listen to Issa Chiroma address Cameroonians after the proclamation of the results yesterday.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah.
My fellow citizen Cameroonian, brothers and sisters in the diaspora, today a dark chapter in our country's history has come to an end. The Constitutional Council has just announced truncated result awarding a fictitious victory to the outgoing President Paul Biya. In so doing, this institution has turned away from its mission as a guardian of truth and democracy, to become a partisan body and enemy of the sovereignty of the people. Yet, the truth of the ballot is clear. The official report from our polling station, compiled and secured by our representatives across the country, demonstrate unequivocally that we won this election by a large majority. This victory is not mine alone. It belongs to the Cameroonian people. At this moment, I wish to pay a solemn tribute to our brothers and sisters who fell in the bullet of a regime that became criminal while they were peacefully exercising a universal right. Their sacrifice will never be in vain. Their blood reminds us that freedom, justice, and dignity are worth more than fear and repression. People of Cameroon, you turned out in large number despite intimidation and threat. I thank you. This time, they will not stop us. We have already won. No falsified proclamation can erase the legitimacy given to us by ballot box. We demand an immediate end to the barbaric act, the killing, the arbitrary arrest, and the intimidation. Setting a country ablaze and drenched in the blood simply to cling to power is not only a moral failing, it is a crime against the people and against humanity. I solemnly declare that the people will not back down. We will not yield to fear or to manipulation. We remain united, mobilized, and will continue to resist until final victory. As with in our neighbors in 2010, legitimacy will triumph over instrumentalized legality. Cameroonians must understand and remain convinced that no one will bring about this change for them, because once again, there is no dignity for those who expect everything from others. The founding father did it. Let us prove ourselves worthy of the legacy that they left us by rising to this challenge, regardless of its complexity and difficulties. The international community must now take responsibility. Everyone will have to answer before history and before international courts for the side they took, the side of the people or the side of oppression. My dear compatriot, the time has come. Let us stand tall and strong, determined, but peaceful. For our strength lies in our unity, and no one can take our victory away from us. Long live a free Cameroon, long live the sovereign people, and may God bless.
All right. Issa Chiruma there, ladies and gentlemen, addressing Cameroonians looking defiant and promising to fight until victory is reversed from Paul Biya to his campaign. And he is urging every Cameroonian to be ready to persevere until victory is regained. Let me get back to Eric Chinje to give me his opinion, listening to what Issa Chiroma has been saying there. Eric, please.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Chris. What we get from the speech and from talking to Issa Chiroma is this total conviction, not only of his victory in in the outcome in the just ended presidential election. I mean, he's totally convinced about the victory that is his, but also convinced about his ability to pull the country together and move in a direction of peace and progress in Cameroon. So right now, of course, there's still a lot of tension in the country. There's determination by some actors to make it difficult for Mr. Chiroma to come out and claim his victory. But as you could tell from the speech and from his demeanor, Mr. Chiroma is totally determined to see this through, and hopefully he's looking right now at the how to manage the process that in ways that allow for a return to peace and normalcy in the country. He's determined to do that and will not allow as he said, and as we say, a band of brigands to take over the country, capture its institutions, and continue to run Cameroon to the ground as they've done over the last decade at least.
Tell me, from your own view of things, do you see these protests going on and on and on, and people not looking fatigued and returning to home in 1 week?
You know, the clear intention is to keep the pressure on, and it's not the intent of anyone to destroy. As a matter of fact, the word that's going out to everybody is to exercise restraint and be as peaceful as possible. That is the modus operandi that that has been launched or agreed to, and as you can see, there's an increasing number of forces of order who, in cooperating with people, have reduced not only the tensions, but literally in most towns where this has happened, eliminated the need for force. The question we should be asking is, if you win an election, why do you need force to impose it?
Right.
If you're in the hearts of the people, why should the people rise up against the results that you announce? Why is a handful of people in various pockets around the country who seem to have welcomed these results? So there's something very, very wrong with what happened in Cameroon over the last couple of weeks. And we just hope and pray that those in power before the 3rd of November will come to their senses and reverse the trends in the country right now. Because we see this going all through to November 3, and if Mr. Biya is sworn in, I really hope so, but it might get worse. I hope not, but I think it will get worse. Did you hear me, Chris?
Yes, sorry, I think I was muted here.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I seem to be seeing very little of the other opposition parties who went in for the elections with Chiroma and the Union for Change criticizing or rebuking what is going on, the result, the outcome of that election. Although I must say I have read what Akeremona put out there, distancing himself and condemning the results. I think I've also seen Ndamjoya's wife also condemning the results. Joshua Osei is kind of having his legs on both sides of the aisle, the way I see in his statement. Cabral, Libby has just endorsed and congratulated the winner of the election. What do you make of those? Especially in the backdrop of some of them being giving billions. Cabri was named, Osei was named, allegedly of getting $1 billion each, not to protest the results of the election. And now we see them just trying to move along. Tell me what your take is on that.
Yeah, Chris, to understand what around these elections, you understand the depth of the crisis in that country. Obviously, when you look at the figures that were given, and we're beginning to call these people out, if you look at the figures that were given as having voted in the 2 English-speaking regions, yes. If you look at those figures, you'll either have to agree that people came out of their graves to vote, or that the living who voted are happy with the one regime has not only destroyed their livelihoods, their lives, but is responsible for the children, men, women, old, young. This happened over the last nearly 1 decade. And if those results are credible and are to be accepted, then obviously something unnatural is happening in that part of the world. We do know that nothing of the sort happened. Dead people did not come out to vote. The vast majority of the citizens there would not vote for the same regime that is responsible for death and destruction in their neighborhoods. So you see why it's impossible to accept the outcome of this election peacefully, which is why people are taken to the streets. They've not taken to the streets in the English-speaking regions as one might have expected, but the reason is simple. These have been fighting for close to a decade. They're tired of it. And I think they want the battle to cross the linguistic border and go over to the other side of the fence. And that's what we are seeing now.
Let me turn over to Delfinio, who is joining me here for the first time on the show from the state of Maryland, as I indicated earlier. Delfinio is a U.S. Army Marine lieutenant, and she's been serving in the U.S. Army for a while. She is originally from Idia. If I'm wrong, you correct me. I had a conversation with her recently, and she lamented being on the ground, seeing what is going on the ground, and the inability of Cameroonians in the diaspora to go back and develop, help their country, help their people. And she lamented, Delfinio, tell me, when you see the images emerging from Cameroon and you are here in the USA fighting for America, how do you feel? Tell me.
Thank you, Chris. First of all, thank you for inviting me. Before I answer your question, allow me to briefly introduce myself. I hold a license en droit from the University of Paris, Nanterre-La Défense, a Master of Laws from American University Washington College of Law, and a Master in Public Health Administration from New York Medical College. My career here in America has been dedicated to leadership and service, managing institution and health and law, working with government, and serving as a lieutenant in the U.S. Navy Reserve. In the U.S. Navy Reserve.
Okay.
So it is from that perspective, both as a public servant and a daughter of Cameroon, that I speak to you today. So yes,
Good.
I am serving in the U.S. a lieutenant. I've been serving for over 16 years now. And then I'm a daughter from Cameroon. Now, to answer your question, when I see all this and knowing where I come from, my heart is aching. I no longer have enough tears to cry because, just like I mentioned to you the other day when we had a brief meeting, I've been on the ground and I've seen with my eyes what is going on in Cameroon. I was over there in September, a couple of weeks prior to this October 12th election. I was in Douala. I was in Yaoundé. I was in Edea where I was born. I traveled everywhere. My father lives in Yaoundé. I went to living from Douala, where I have a shop, to Edea. Took me 2 hours and a half, when traveling from Douala to Edea used to be less than 45 minutes. Today, you have more than 2 hours and a half to go from Douala to Edea. It is unacceptable. Cameroonians are tired. I've seen that with my own eyes. They're no longer capable of doing anything. So for me, sitting here in Maryland and seeing my people, my brother and sister from the east, west, south, north, suffering, and me not being able to participate, to do something over there and bring a little something from what I've learned through my travels, it's just breaking my heart. I don't have words to describe what I'm seeing over there. So when you see this young brother and sister of mine with degrees who are end up just going and driving motorcycle without helmet, without license, to feed the family, I am broken, and I do not understand how our president, because even though I am American citizen, my heart still belongs to Cameroon, Chris. My
Right.
heart is still over there. This is where I will go and then finish my life. And I want to make sure that before I do that, I want to leave something, but I cannot do that because every time I try, I'm being rejected, I'm being shut down. I cannot because the system is not allowing us to bring anything over there, to do anything over there. I don't even know where to begin. What I've been seeing for the past couple of days is just showing me that Cameroonians are tired. The Anglophone part, my fellow brother and sister been fighting for over a decade. They are tired. We are all tired, no matter what. It's not because we're sitting outside. That doesn't mean that we don't know the suffering, because we go when we're allowed to go. When the government give us visa to enter. Once we have those visa and we go over there and we try to do something, we cannot do anything.
Delphine, if I may come back to you, would you argue that Cameroonian, I mean, this has been going on for 42 years. Can you attribute that to the fact that Cameroonians have essentially been sleeping on the steering? Look at Burkina Faso. The people rose up and grabbed back their country. Look at Guinea, and I mean the whole of the Sahel has become the standard for other African countries. If you look at Kenya, I think a year or so ago, the people rose up and chased the government officials, parliamentarians, and ministers out of office, and they almost burned down the entire country. We have seen things like this also in Cote d'Ivoire. But in Cameroon, people are just so contented, just so contented. Do you think they should be blamed? They should be blamed for the misery that is that country today.
Chris, thank you for your question. It's a really, really important question. But before I answer that question directly, I would like to say this. I want to say to my brother and sister that I'm on this platform today, not with anger, okay? I'm here with love. Love for Cameroon, love for our people, love for our future. I believe President Paul Biya stopped being a true leader of the people of Cameroon a long time ago. Maybe as far back as the 2018 election. He is older than my father. He is tired. He is unwell. And I say this with respect. It's time to let him rest. It's time to let him rest. We have to be fair. From 1982 until around the year 2000, he led in full capacity. We can judge that period on its merit, his success, his failure, his intentions. But after 2000, something changed. Even former Minister Issa Chiroma said that for 11 years, he never met the president. 11 years.
Right.
That means something. It means maybe he was ill or maybe he was no longer in control. When I see President Biya, Chris, I see my own father, Mr. On Leonard, whom I visit during my last trip home in September, just like I said. Like my father, President Paul Biya deserves peace. But I believe he is being held hostage by those around him. He is tired and he can no longer lead a nation of over 30 million people. What I saw in Cameroon, Chris, broke my heart, just like I said. People are tired. Can we blame them? Maybe. But they are desperate. And worst of all, they have become numbed. They have become numbed. You can feel it in the eyes, Chris, in the voices. They survive, but they no longer dream, Chris. They survive, they no longer dream. And the few who rise up too often do it for themselves, not for the people, not for Cameroon. And for those of us in the diaspora, like my fellow counterpart here, those who return with honest heart, with real love for Cameroon, we face rejection. We try to build, but the system shuts us down. I have a shop in Douala, Chris, for instance. The shop is Shedelba. It's in near Dogbat, near Carrefour, Egypt, and Africa Petroleum. We sell American health products, supplements, hygiene items, real things that can help people. But what do they say to me every time I go over there? Close your store and open a bar. Close your shop and open a bar. And next door to me, guess what? There's 10 bars. I counted them. I was curious one day, then I counted those bars. 1, 2, all the way up to 10. 10 bars. This is not development. This is despair. Cameroon has no real infrastructure. Just like I said, our roads are broken. Our hospitals are failing. The schools are falling apart. Young people riding motorcycles without helmet or license just to survive another day. I've seen that with my own eyes. I took my own kids over there because I did not want them to just think that they're American. I wanted them to know that they're coming from somewhere, and I wanted them to love that place. But we are a rich country, rich in resources, rich in spirit, rich in talent. I've seen those talents. I've seen those young kids. I was amazed. I was proud. I was happy. But we lack leaders, real leaders, who they only see power for themselves. We need leaders who see power as service, not as privilege. As service, not as privilege. I was looking around when I went to Cameroon in September, and then one day somebody I was talking told me we only have the leaders we deserve. I listened to him, and I will say that again. He said, no, we only have the leaders we deserve.
Yeah.
I was just like, maybe it's true. So when you ask me, can we blame them? They told us we only have the leaders we deserve. Because if we accept corruption, Chris, we will live with corruption. If we tolerate injustice, we will be ruled by injustice. So can we blame ourselves? Because even though I'm part of the diaspora, I'm still Cameroonian. That's still my country. All of us who are here in the diaspora, that's still our country. So when you ask me that question, we, not only those who are left in the country, should be to blame. We need to question ourselves. Say, how come for so long we let this be? How come for so long when Anglophone part was fighting, the Francophone was sitting? How come when one tribe is fighting, the other one is saying no, because I did fight for so long and they didn't give me my piece of the pie. Therefore, today I'm going to sit around. We have to be honest among ourselves, Chris.
I think you asked let me come in there, Dave. You asked a very pertinent question there. How come Anglophones were fighting for so long? Where were the Francophones? Where were the Francophones? That is a very legitimate question, and it is a question that even Anglophones or Southern Cameroonians, Amazonians, they are asking today. They are saying on the eve of the election, you want us to go and vote. Where were you when we were being slaughtered? Where were you when our homes were being razed? Where were you when our children did not go to school? Where were you with hundreds of thousands of refugees, Southern Cameroonian refugees, all dotted across Central and West Africa? The Francophone did not show up. Life was normal. But now I hear the call. Everybody is our country. We are brothers. Do brothers abandon each other in times of need? That is a question out there, and I won't mind if Eric weighs it in there after you, Delphine.
Yes. Okay. I before I would like to answer, Chris, if I may. I started this. I'm a francophone, but I am always telling my friends and my brother and sister that this is why have we been fighting for a language, first of all, who do not belong to us? Francophone and Anglophone. Can you believe what we're saying here? We allow other people to come and divide us. I am Cameroonian. I'm not Francophone or someone else is not Anglophone. I am Cameroonian because when something is happening in the north or the south, on the east, on the west, I am being impacted. What is happening there is because, once again, just like I said earlier, we do not have the right leaders to lead our country. We have leaders who are there only to think about themselves instead of looking at the bigger picture and bringing us together. We are a rich nation, diverse, and that's where we are having, that's our strength. If we are smart enough to understand that what they call Anglophone and what they call Francophone, we are one. When something is happening over there, we're being impacted, this will stop. But because it's always a good thing for leaders to divide in order for them to conquer, that's the reason why we're still where we are today. So it's up to us, people of Cameroon, to reject those leaders in the policy and the ideology in order for us to come together and remove those mindset where somebody will tell you, yes, I'm from Francophone, therefore I don't know anything about Anglophone. No, I reject that. I am a Cameroonian. I'm not Francophone. I'm not Anglophone. I am a Cameroonian. So when my brothers or sister is in trouble, no matter where in Cameroon, I am also in trouble because if I let her or him down, I'm letting my children down. That's my answer.
Eric, maybe if all Francophones had the way of thinking of their female, maybe they would have been out there fighting for Southern Cameroonians at the outbreak in 2016 of the Amazonian conflict. I think Eric is disconnected, frozen. Yes, I think Eric is frozen. If you can hear me, just log out and log back in, Eric. And once you log back in, we will continue. Delphine, please stay put in there. I will take a brief break out, and when we come back, if Eric is back, I'll get him to respond. If not, I take you to my monologue, and after the monologue, I will get back to you. So please stay put. Do not touch your remote. About to be right back.
ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com. ABS can help you reach your target audience like never before. Advertising on ABS, you'll benefit from our extensive reach and dedicated viewership. We offer special advertising packages during primetime slots and popular shows. You'll also be featured on our social media platforms, reaching an even wider audience. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Take your business to the next level. Contact our advertising team at absafricativ@gmail.com.
Je suis content que vous vous réjouissiez à la fois du travail fait par votre père et la victoire de votre candidat. Je suis content que vous vous réjouissiez à la fois du travail fait par votre père et la victoire de votre candidat. Je suis content que vous vous réjouissiez à la fois du travail fait par votre père et la victoire de votre candidat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. What you are seeing there, what you are watching there, will be the subject of this talking point that I bring to you at this moment, talking about the thief in chief. Today you must look closely at what has been exposed. Not just an electoral result, but a regime caught red-handed in the act of subverting every principle of democratic accountability. The man at the center of this expose is Clement Atanganang, the man on your screen, President of the Constitutional Council of Cameroon, the very judge who proclaimed the October 12 presidential results. A video, the one you watch, has surfaced. Yes, you heard right. A video showing Atanganang immediately after delivering the results in a celebratory mood among top government officials and comrades of the ruling party, the Cameroon People's Democratic Movement, or maybe undemocratic movement. In that footage, we see him boasting, reminding those present to thank him for mustering the courage to read the results in favor of their candidate, Paul Biya, despite the high pressure and tensions. If a judge charged with certifying the legitimacy of a presidential election is congratulating himself and his political affiliates for having courageously delivered a favorable verdict, then what we have is not the adjudication of justice, but the celebrated orchestration of fraud. Recall that prior to the proclamation of the results, this same Clement Atanganang dismissed all petitions brought by opposition parties and civil society groups, complaints of irregularities, of flawed procedures, on the grounds that the council lacked jurisdiction. Officially, the objections were rejected because they purportedly lacked legal basis or were not admissible. Now, marry that fact with a video of Atangana Clement parting with regime faithfuls after the reading of the results. What message does that send? It sends the message that the gatekeeper of justice was conversing with the beneficiaries of the election result before the verdict had any real foundation. It means that the so-called judicial review was nothing more than a formality, an instrument of manipulation to legitimize a foregone conclusion. This is the heart of the matter. The confession is built in plain sight. The regime has long claimed the election was free.
I believe Chris is having a little problem, but he's going to be right back. And just like he will be right back, we believe that no matter what happens,
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for that interruption. Sometimes nature itself interrupts, and for that reason, I'm going to start this monologue all over again. Today, you must look closely at what has been exposed. Not just an electoral result, but a regime caught red-handed in the act of subverting every principle of democratic accountability. The man at the center of this expose is Clement Atanganang. Clement Atanganang, the guy they are clapping for there. He is the president of the Constitutional Council of Cameroon, the very judge who proclaimed the October 12 presidential results. A video has surfaced, the one you watch right now. Yes, you heard it right. A video showing Atanganang immediately after delivering the results in a celebratory mood among top government officials and comrades of the ruling People's Democratic Movement, or Undemocratic Movement, the CPDM. In the video footage, we see Atanganang boasting, reminding those present to thank him for mustering the courage to read the results in favor of the regime, despite the high pressure and the tensions. If a judge charged with certifying the legitimacy of a presidential election is congratulating himself and his political affiliates for having courageously delivered a favorable verdict, then what we have is not the adjudication of justice, but the celebrated orchestration of fraud. Recall that prior to the proclamation of the results, this same Clement Atanganang dismissed all petitions brought by opposition parties and civil society groups, complaints of irregularities, of flawed procedures, on the grounds that the council lacked jurisdiction. Officially, the objections were rejected because they purportedly lacked legal basis or were not admissible. Now, marry that fact with a video of Clement Atanganang partying with regime faithfuls after the reading of the results. What message does that send? It sends the message that the gatekeeper of justice was conversing with the beneficiaries of the election result before the verdict had any real foundation. It means that the so-called judicial review was nothing more than a formality, an instrument of manipulation to legitimize a foregone conclusion. This is the heart of the matter. The confession is built in plain sight. The regime has long claimed the election was free, fair, and transparent. But here in these videos, ladies and gentlemen, in the footages we see, he is acknowledging his role in delivering the result, thanking his allies for supporting him in the act. That is the very definition of official fraud and electioneering. The opposition, led by Issa Chiroma Bakari, and indeed every Cameroonian whose dignity remains intact now, has undeniable grounds to fight for the victory that is rightly theirs. Why? Because the evidence is now clear. The result did not flow from the free expression of the will of the people, but from a managed process. The petitions rejected in advance, the channels of accountability shut, and a presiding judge, the chief judge in that matter, conspiring consciously or unconsciously with the regime in its celebratory gesture of triumph. When you dismiss petitions from the opposition by declaring, "We have no jurisdiction," then proceed to announce the result you were paid or politicized to announce. You are not administering justice. You are administering a defeat of the people's voice. The video confirms exactly that. In that footage is the confession. "Thank you," he said. "Thank you for backing me. Thank you for trusting me to deliver." To allow this to pass without outrage is to surrender your right to fair play, to open an accountable governance, and to give legitimacy to a regime that has long stood above the law. Step back and ask for a moment. What do these confessions mean to the election and the countless cries of rigging, of manipulation, and disenfranchisement? They mean that the election has been transformed from a democratic exercise into a sham performance. Ballots may have been cast, boxes may have been opened, numbers may have been published, but the truth of the ballot has been stolen before the counting began. Because the gatekeepers, the chief judge, the constitutional council, those charged with ensuring legality, were already seated at the banquet of victory. They mean that the constitutional check, the final appeal, the adjudicator of electoral legitimacy, all collapse into complicity. The petitions by credible opposition candidates and by civic organizations were not even seriously entertained. They were dismissed for lack of jurisdiction or lack of proper evidence, regardless of the scope of irregularities documented. That is not justice. It is judicial theater. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the video you see emerges as a smoking gun. It confirms what many argued, suspected, whispered. The regime and its instruments were already preparing the outcome long before the people's votes were fully verified. The judge, who should stand apart, becomes part of the act. He becomes celebrant. He becomes co-pilot of the result. That is why the opposition can now move with boldness, not mere protest, but claim, appeal, and international mobilization. How can the opposition use this? First, to the people. They must sound the alarm and rally their base. They must say with confidence, here is the proof. The verdict is pre-arranged. We were robbed. The narrative must shift from we suspect rigging to we have documented complicity. That subtle difference matters. It matters. It moves the opposition from claim to evidence. It transforms the moral high ground into the ground of truth. Second, to the international community, the opposition must carry this video, the one you see on your screen, the sequence of judicial dismissals and the timeline of result proclamation, and juxtapose them with the standard of electoral integrity that Cameroon's partners insist upon. They must say, here stands the arbiter, not only dismissing our petitions, but celebrating the result with the beneficiary. Ask them, how can a democratic election stand when the institution tasked with safeguarding its legality is shown as part of the victor's entourage? Ask them, have we not crossed the line from election to assignment? Number three, at the domestic, judicial, or constitutional level, why the courtroom has been compromised, the opposition must push relentlessly for public hearings, if any exist in La République du Cameroon. They must push for independent examination of that video. They must push for parliament or civic investigations. The confession cannot simply vanish into a media circle. It must become a referral piece of evidence in courts of law, human rights bodies, international election monitors, and regional bodies such as the African Union or the Economic Community of West African States. Let the regime not bury it in Spain. Again, you can't allow the regime to bury it in Spain. But finally, the opposition should use this as a clarion call. The battle is no longer merely about protest. It is about reclaiming ownership of the state. If the judge and the court became part of the machine, then the machine becomes the target. If the venue of justice is transformed into the banquet of the victors, then accountability must be diverted to the courts of public opinion, to regional oversight, and to the corridors of international diplomacy. That is what must happen at the moment if the opposition is serious with what they can do with this video, with this piece of evidence. In short, the regime has exposed itself. The judge, the court, the result, they are all part of the cast. They were writing the script before the election, and they acted it out to its end. That is why you, the opposition, the citizens of Cameroon, the diaspora of Cameroon, the international community must treat this not as a moment of outrage alone, but as a turning point from passive acceptance to active claim, from protest to demand, from suspicion to proof, and the video is proof. On screen tonight, I want you to remember the footage, the smiles, the applause you see there, the pats on the back you see there, the assurance that we did it. This is not celebration, it is confession. It is confession. The question for you now is, will you get this confession slide into the archives, or will you rise, mobilize, and demand that the verdict of the people and not the verdict of the insiders prevail? The time for deferred justice is over. The time for strategic claim is upon Cameroonians, every Cameroonian, home and abroad. Because once the gatekeeper reveals himself as he has done, as the gatekeeper of victory, rather than the guardian of democracy, the only course left is to reclaim that guardianship to yourselves. The victory is not lost. It has been stolen. And with this evidence, with this mounting clarity, let it be known that the campaign of Issa Chiroma Bakari and the people of Cameroon will not retreat. They should advance. That is my talking point there, ladies and gentlemen. I will bring back that audio. I will let that audio play back so that you can, that video play back so you can listen to it.
Je suis content que vous vous réjouissiez à la fois du travail fait par votre père et la victoire de votre candidat. Je suis content que vous vous réjouissiez à la fois du travail fait par votre père et la victoire de votre candidat. Je suis content que vous vous réjouissiez à la fois du travail fait par votre père et la victoire de votre candidat. Je suis content que vous vous réjouissiez à la fois du travail fait par votre père et la victoire de votre candidat.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you all heard it. You all heard it. That is Clement Atanganang, the chair of the Constitutional Council in La République du Cameroon, the one who proclaimed the election results yesterday, the election results of October 12th. Now you can see him sitting among his peers in the ruling clan, in the ruling CPDM, and excited, celebrating with him that he declared the results for them. They should celebrate him. They should thank him. They should appreciate him. That's the summary of what is happening there. But again, there is a guy who was supposed to be a neutral arbiter in the conduct of the election of October 12th. But he is there celebrating for declaring the results in favor, just as he was told to do, I guess. It's very unfortunate. And ladies and gentlemen, there is no way that Cameroon can have a free and fair election any day with people like this in power, with people like this controlling the courts and the constitutional and the legal institutions. It cannot happen. If Cameroonians are out there waiting to be handed power, waiting to be handed over control of the country. You waste your time. It is not going to happen. You have to rally behind Issa Chiroma now or never. Now or never, else you are forever damned. You are forever damned. For Ambazonia, we are just looking. Don't worry about my coverage of this on a daily basis now. But it is horrible what we find there. If Cameroonians cannot fight for their rights, fight for their victory, and remove people, the kind of people you find on your screen, the claimants at Tanganang, if you cannot find to take them out, I don't know whether you are serious. And I just hope that these protests we see around the country will not happen for 1 week. I hope that you have learned from the Sahel. You have learned from Ambazonians who have persevered for 9 years. 2 cubes of sugar. 2 cubes of sugar that's supposed to have dissolved in 2 weeks. They have gone for 9 years in counting. I hope Francophones take up that baton. Let me get back to Eric Chinje, who got disconnected. It seems that Eric is still frozen. Eric, you seem still frozen. You seem frozen, please. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in the absence of Eric, while waiting for him to reconnect at this moment, I will open the phone lines. Take your calls, get your contributions, and remember that before you call, the volume of your television set must be shut down. When you call, you focus on your phone. Focus on your phone. When I pick the call, and instead of hearing you, I'm hearing my voice in the background, I just shut you off and go to the next caller, because I won't wait. I won't sit there saying who is saying hello, 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 when many calls are coming in. So make sure that before you call, the volume of your set is turned down and you focus on your phone. Okay, let me get to the first caller here. Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Saudi Arabia.
And we don't call here on video, so but go ahead. What is on your mind? All right. When we don't take video calls here. When you call direct, sir. Hello.
Yeah, hello?
Hello. Calling from Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
Okay. What is on your mind, sir?
Yes, I think, what I can contribute regarding what is happening now in Cameroon.
Okay.
I think the board now at Chiroma, Issa Chiroma has played his part already.
Okay.
From his speeches evening, it's very clean and clear. The ball is in the hands of the Cameroonians. I think 43 years is not 42 days. Or let's say it's not 20 days. I think they have learned enough from other countries. And these people, for example, just a video you played this evening regarding the Clement Atanga, who happened to be the referee himself. And now, if the referee of the match can begin to celebrate the winner of another team, that's just to tell you what happened.
Right.
And now, at this particular junction, if Cameroonians are not angry enough, if you are a Cameroonian and you watch that video and you are not angry enough, it means that, I don't know how I can put it, it means that you are damn stupid in the world. The world will look Cameroonians as the people who are not humans.
Right. All right. Thank you, sir.
After watching that video, the next step they're supposed to be focusing is the Atanganjis, that man's family, or their assets. They're supposed to bring those things down. All those elected members, all those people who helped to rig the election, in the favor of this vampire regime, they're supposed to begin to target their assets. It is not only about marching on the streets. This is not something that they think that they can only march on the street for peaceful. The regime Yaoundé is ready for war, and the civilians also need to be ready for war for all those government officials.
All right. Thank you, sir.
They're supposed to be projected.
Thank you for the call.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah, hello, Comrade Chris.
Hello, good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Maitre Nikonf from the Netherlands.
Oh, okay. And what is on your mind, sir?
Now, what is on my mind? First and foremost, I really want to appreciate all this time you are taking in broadcasting the activities going on in La République du Cameroon. I think most of them are following you up, and you've been educating them quite a while as I get the feedback. So, thanks a lot. I think they are opening their eyes in some other form.
Okay.
And yeah, really, actually, what drew my attention this evening was a broadcast I followed by John Bakoro, in which I think the question will be, I think, does Issa Chiroma know that he can get himself sworn in as the president of the Republic of Cameroon following the constitution? Because articles of the constitution, article 2, 6, and 7, they give him that right to be sworn in as president following the, if you want to take article 113 of the electoral laws. I think if Issa Chiroma could get a supreme judge in that area or any part to swear in him, I think he will execute orders now like the president of the Republic of Cameroon. And that can give him more leverage than to wait on Biya till he's going to be sworn in if Biya is finally sworn in, it will be contradiction for him to be sworn in again as president number 2. That will be 40. So right now, Issa Chiroma has the mandate of the people according to Article 2 of their Constitution, 6 and 7. So if you combine all of these articles together, it gives him the right with the Article 113 of their Constitution. So, and with that sworn in as president already, he can issue orders now to the international community as president of the Republic of Cameroon, seek their attention or their support in some other form. He can even go as far as, closing borders not to allow these criminals escape.
Well, I want to believe he has lawyers surrounding him and advising him and what he can and cannot do at this moment, right?
Yeah, but on the other hand, the Constitutional Council has already proclaimed the 40 result, and what does he have to wait for again? Now, if you look from the look of things, there is anarchy because there is the population is not willing to take any instruction from Yaoundé, and they are ready to hear from their president. But he has not yet been sworn in now as a president. So how do the population react? They become frustrated and go rampage, and in the end, they are seen like criminals now. So the best way forward is for him to get sworn in. Yes, and this is a question I thought maybe I should put to his able friend, Mr. Eric Chinje, the daughter who usually come regularly on their platform too. So maybe he doesn't have this knowledge, or maybe some of his advisors don't know this, have this technical know-how from the Constitution.
Well, again, you can believe that in a situation like this, he has lawyers or he is surrounded by lawyers who are telling him steps to take. Thank you for the call.
Vous pouvez se mobiliser devant chez le gouverneur, faire des sit-ins là-bas. S'il n'y a pas le gouverneur chez vous, c'est le préfet. Voilà, le sit-in chez les préfets. Au bureau du préfet, vous allez envahir là-bas et faire le sit-in. S'il n'y a pas le bureau du préfet là-bas et qu'il y a des sous-préfectures, c'est à la sous-préfecture qu'on va faire des sit-ins. Jusqu'au moment où Yaoundé va dire que Biya a fui. Lui et sa bande de copains. Voilà, c'est à ce moment que nous allons rentrer à la maison. Un vent nouveau va souffler sur le Cameroun. Ici, c'est Arabinga. Tout est bloqué. Le peuple est réveillé. Le peuple du Grand Nord est debout, déterminé cette fois-ci. Voilà, à tout moment, nous allons apprendre, montrer aux gens comment on revendique, comment on manifeste, comment on grève. Voilà, jusqu'au jour où le mot d'ordre collectif va être lancé. Et c'est comme ça doit se passer. Ça, ce n'est que le début. C'est comme ça.
their destiny is in their own hands. And for over how many years we've seen a tyranny government that has been oppressing its people using high-handed. What I would suggest for Francophones to do is to look for all these doubts, all of these ministers, people like Atangana, and then people like Atangananji, the Minister of Territorial Administration, and this idiot who is in the Supreme Court. The Francophones should start looking for their properties, their houses, and their family members. That is what they're supposed to be doing now. All of these people like Fam Dongo, etc., these people should not be walking, or their family members should not be walking on the street. They should start hunting their family members. Even those who are there in the diaspora, their family members should not be having easy access, walking in shops and doing things. They have businesses. They know where to find them. That Supreme Judge should not even spend a night in his house. People should visit his house, burn them down, even rape their women. I'm just so sick to see such this kind of people parading the street at the detriment or the cost of the poor masses. I can't believe that these people are walking free. So let the Francophone, let their citizens don't give up. They should hunt every human being who is part and parcel of this electoral fraud.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hello. 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 I think my phones are jammed, ladies and gentlemen. Hello. Hello.
Yes, hello. Comrade Chris.
Yes, sir. This is calling Texas or Massachusetts?
Texas.
All right. What is on your mind?
Yes, sir. Well, so we just saw what happened in Madagascar, right? We saw a sustained protest from the people. The first point I want to make is that no army in the world can defeat its people, can defeat its own people. So I hear some Francophones coming out and say, oh, if we go out, there's going to be more killings. Now, you cannot, if they come out, and of course some people are going to die, but if people come out in numbers, just like what happened in Madagascar, you saw what happened over there. The French flew the president out of the country. If Cameroon plays its card well, that's a similar situation can play or can follow in Cameroon. So far, I think what they're doing is good, but the effort has to be sustained. I don't see this personally as Paul Biya forcing him, trying to be in power. I think there are forces behind him, and those forces, in my opinion, is not just Atanganji or Clement Atangana and those people. I think those things are coming from way across the Atlantic, from Paris. That's how I see it. And I think this is a fight between the Cameroon people and the French Republic. I mean, Paris, that's what I mean. They don't seem to understand the history of what is going on. I believe that if they all come out and make a sustained protest, this thing can be they can still unseat Biya even now. That's all I really want to say.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
All right. If you can elevate your voice a bit so others can hear you. What is your contribution?
Mr. Chris, thank you very much for the program. The video is very simple. Let Esther Chiroma to use that video and swear in. Simple.
Okay, you mean the video of the constitutional judge Clement Atanganang celebrating his declaration, right?
Yes, Esther Chiroma to use that video and swear in.
You are very correct. However, the logistics behind that are what isn't known. Let me get to Eric Chinje, who has joined me back to give us his opinion on this video of Atanganang Clement celebrating his proclamation of the results in favor of Paul Biya as arranged, I guess. Eric, please, I'm sure you have seen that footage out there, right? Unfortunately, you were frozen.
Yes, I did, Chris, yes. I hope you can hear me. I don't know what
I can hear you.
I'm in a hotel in I'm in
I can hear you
Senegal.
now.
And okay, very good, very good. I saw the footage, of course, and it's proof, if anywhere needed, of the illegality of the process and the illegitimacy of the outcome. So I think if any honest Cameroonian is out there watching, or if you have seen that video or any other, there's so many of them anyway in social media, it is clear that we cannot build a lie, we cannot build truth on a lie. If truth gets destroyed in a nation, the nation begins to die. I think it was Professor Fondon who said that.
Don't you see that?
Destroyed truth.
Okay, go on. Finish your thought.
No, I was just saying we have succeeded in destroying truth in Cameroon, and we're settling for a big lie. And how we expect a nation to survive under those circumstances, I guess only the foolhardy would understand that. It is clear that Cameroon will not be governed by Mr. Biya ever again. The lie may continue a short while longer, but it's over for Mr. Biya, the man. He has to be preparing himself now for the ultimate meeting. That's what he should be focusing on. The rest of the liars, we will have to deal with them. We'll figure that out, and they can count on it. We're going to, we want to know from those Anglophone leaders who went and got votes from ground zero. We want to know from them how they got those votes. And if they thought that was the best way to contribute to this big lie for their own individual benefit, they'll have to explain that to our children and to our members who will be taken away from us and those who continue to suffer. This is
yeah, I think you were. I think your network is a problem there. I think you are frozen again.
Right. Well, I can hear you at least.
Okay. Yeah. Go on. You are on now. You're back on.
So I'm just saying
this is the point. Eric,
yeah.
Let's look at it this way. I think this thing is what we are seeing there, the fraud, the confession made by Clement Atanganang. If anything, it is the evidence that the opposition can rely on. This is the Chief Judge of the Constitutional Council, the man who proclaimed the results. He is here on camera confessing that he did it just as he was asked to do. How can, I mean, what other evidence does Issa Chiroma and his team need to go ahead? I mean, the international community, the media, I don't know why they are not seizing advantage of this video circulating out there, because I'm not seeing anybody making an issue out of it other than the fact that it's circulating on the social media. They should get this into the hands of every diplomat out there, the AU, the UN, the EU, the Commonwealth, the ECOWAS, every organization.
Yeah. You know, Chris, the folks in Yaoundé expect us all who reject these outcomes to react based on some emotionalisms. We've decided not to do that. The case is being made, and it will be made where it should, with regard to the constitutionality, the legality, the legitimacy of this outcome. That case is being made. The economic case is being made. That is why we feel confident that the lie will not survive for long. We will, so the case is being made, as I said, the argument impact is really understand exactly how this is going to go about, and ultimately, hope, we believe that this whole thing would be. My phone keeps ringing, and I'm trying to stop it. I believe firmly, Chris, that this charade will be unmasked soon to the world. But this is our battle. It's not the world's battle. It is our fight, and we intend to win it. It is, it's my hope that those who hold the keys to this will listen and understand. This part of our region of the world, our geography, we've suffered enough. We've suffered enough, and I think what happened now was people rising up to say enough is enough, but they've illegally used instruments of state to continue to want to punish the state. And that's what we're rising up against. And we will. This is not the end.
Hold on there.
This is the beginning.
Hold on there. Let's bring you another footage. And this one is coming from Bamenda. I guess this guy is supposed to be the mayor of Bamenda, so-called city council, a city without roads, a city of potholes. Take a listen to it, please.
Okay.
The Minister of Territorial Administration, His Excellency Atangan Jupol, was here. And he told us that he will give us food to eat. Yes, sir. Is that okay? Yes, sir. If we talk am? Yes, sir. Now CPD man. Yes. Man where you talk it in the keeper. Yes, sir. No be so?
Talk and do.
Today, it don't make am possible where any man for here go get chop for chop. All man for here go get rice. All man for here go get groundnut oil. All man for here go get meat. So you go discipline yourself. I will go share them for where no man no go get any problem.
All those behind that car, come here.
No. Now just wait for them. They are watching the vehicle.
No, I mean you want to dress.
Yes. So what we will do now, I say, all we will enter inside that esplanade, that grandstand. You understand?
Yes, sir.
When we enter inside that grandstand, as you come up for grandstand, you take your chop, you take your oil, You take your meat. Hello.
Eric, you watching that? Eric, are you still connected? It seems like you are frozen again. But yeah, Eric is frozen, ladies and gentlemen. He's having a very bad connection from Senegal, where he is joining from. But ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about Cameroon, we're not only talking about these cronies in La République du Cameroon, like the Apo, Atangangis, and the rest. There are many of them, and they are everywhere, everywhere. This guy you are watching supposed to be the Bamenda, the mayor of the Bamenda council, and all he can promise people, all that the people of Bamenda need, they need meat. They need, you heard him name all the things there. For how long? They need that bread. They need that meat. They need that oil. For how many days? For how long? And of course, the people in the background rejoicing, excited, those are surely paid actors. They are paid to show up and act as if something great is being done. I don't know for how long. People are full. People are full. But the thing is that these are the kind of people that shall be held to account when the moment comes, when the day of judgment comes. When the day of judgment comes, these are the kind of people that will be held to account. That day will come. That day will surely come. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I will take you back to the phones. I will take you back to the phones. Let know what is on your mind. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Good evening, Comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Exam Ground Zero.
Okay, what is your contribution, sir? 50 seconds.
Yes, sir. There are some of these footages that when I watch them, tears come down from my eyes.
Right.
Just today, as they are celebrating at Pop Station, a delegate was killed and was passed and went to the mortuary.
As they were celebrating off station, a delegate was killed at Nkwen?
Yes.
Okay. A delegate of what?
I cannot really remember the position, but it's a delegate. He was passed out by business and by the army rescue. Went to the mortuary.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the call, sir. Hello. 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 Again, when you call, you have to stay on the phone. You cannot call and have your audio background. Hello.
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 Good evening, Comrade Chris.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Okay, 50 seconds. What is your contribution?
At first, Francophones are actually might talk for pidgin so that other people they will hear too, because a lot of people they say grammar too much. Francophones they want me Ambazonian fight for them. They confess away for town. Say we get hard, we need a tear die. Okay, I want to appreciate you for what we do because now comrade that Eric Chinger icon for CRTV, a good Ambazonian. We don't work for a long period of time, just like you. But he sacrificed, not destroy, sacrifice along the way. But you don't sacrifice, and you sacrifice to a lot of family members. In fact, you just be like an island where you know get no surrounding. You'll be covered with water, nothing around you. But you stand your ground. Thank you for the courage. Thank you for the bring them up. Then they give them back some small spirit for hope. Again, for add on to the other call I don't talk. May I be very sad because Francophone them from time immemorial, from after Ajo leave power, they give it for Pobia take return for total slaves them. With the work they are picking, they chop the fat. Now they don't be too fat, and now they not be able for, they not train them for work. How they still fight? The period of resistance for them to different. So the one who can't resist for them, we don't sacrifice for everything, for education, for democracy, for multipartyism, for everything. They don't take anything serious. They always one way. Well, 99 days now for the two. 1 day for the owner, but when they don't get their time. This conflict on way this Clement at Tangano, they don't bring her out. Now evidence of the hard work of certain Cameroonians, no even say actually now them Francophone, they make another great, they sacrifice the truth or the resistance, the people they stand with a moral background, but bring dignity for the human person according to the principles of God when they violate them. Now they will go down. Even those who win our own brother, they will try to work with them. Then all will go down just as we did. Brother, more grace to you are able. Keep it on. Thank you for the education you give them. Don't completely know the understanding for some certain things that they try for monitor and tell you what to do. As you say, they ask you for help.
All right. All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. All right. Hello. Hello.
Good evening, Mr. Chris.
Yes, good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Ground Zero.
Okay.
I have only one idea to give to Cameroonians.
Okay.
Yeah. My idea is that let's rally ourselves. That's not an Douala and Yaoundé. Let's march. Let's rally ourselves and go to a 2D, and this problem will be solved.
Okay.
All this burning will not solve this problem, but when we rally ourselves and go there, this problem will be solved.
All right.
That is my contribution. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. All right. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, hello.
Hello. Where are you calling from, please?
I'm calling from Estonia.
Estonia. Wow, that's a long way. Okay, what is on your mind, sir?
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Chris. First of all, I want to thank you for doing this show, this program. It really helps us, some of us that are really far away, because we could actually know some of the things that are going on back home. First of all, I want to start by saying that I want to greet Mr. Eric. And I want to thank you for you and your team. So what I want to say just quickly is that, Mr. Chris, the Anglophone saw what's going on in Cameroon a long time ago coming. The Anglophone saw it from the times of Indele and then Bernard Folong and all the rest. And then came the 2018 problem, and we all know how it rolled on. And when this thing in the Anglophone side started, there were clearly videos online. You could see girls with like 5 military people surrounding her and telling her to roll on the mud. And all these killings of people in their buildings, the Francophones never came out to to be like with us. They could have gone out in the street to like protest, to say this is not what we want to happen with our people. We are brothers, let's be together and stuff like that. But these things never happened. But there is a saying that goes like this, yeah? If you see a fire burning in your neighbor's house and you fold your arms, be sure that fire will reach your own house. And when it reaches your own house, there will be nobody to help you because your neighbor is helpless. So that is exactly what is happening in the other side of Cameroon today. And I can tell you that the Francophone, this thing will go on for a week, and after a week, everything will die down, and it will continue like this. It's really hurting. It's a pity. It's really a shame, because what is happening in Cameroon now is that Cameroon is creating a history of the world on its own. Cameroon is the only country in the world with an electoral law that says that elections can be declared only after 15 days. Not even in North Korea that is possible. Not even in Afghanistan. How is that possible? Then you have this PV that in the middle you could just rip up this paper, write whatever you want, and then they send it over to the Electoral Commission. And the Electoral Commission is the only legal body to to declare who wins and who didn't win. What kind of a law is that? What kind of a country is that? How can this kind of a country be fixed? It is practically impossible. I don't know if there is somebody dreaming somewhere that with this kind of laws, something can happen. Now the die has been cast. The only time that the Cameroonians had the chance to stop this from happening was when, before even the elections, they could have gone out on the street, protest that this law should be changed, things should be amended, the whole thing should be overhauled, and so that things should be fixed. But now the die has been cast. I guarantee you 100%, 1,000,000,000%, beer isn't going anywhere. People will be on the street for a little while and they will go home. And everybody will sleep and be drinking their gari, eating their whatsoever. That's how it's going to be. But I am really proud of the English side. I'm really proud. I was born in Bamenda, and I'm really proud, very, very proud that I came from the English side. Because the English people have proven that you can't walk on them. And the French side of Cameroon is copying everything out, but they can't copy it to the fullest. So my deal is, my bottom line is this: these guys are going to march for a while, protesting for a while, and they're going to go home and sleep, and things will go on. Because of two things. What will happen like that? Because of two things.
All right, one, comrade, round it up. I have lots of calls coming in.
Let me just finish up. Can I just finish up quickly?
Yes, go on quickly.
Yeah, just very fast. So because of two things. Number one, the people, they have been like pounded on their head for years, for decades and decades and decades, that the only way for you to fight for your rights is to go out in the street with your two hands up, just walk a little bit, protest a little bit, and don't do anything, and then go home and sleep, and that's how it's going to be. There is no dictatorship in the world that can be removed in such a way. No dictatorship. It is, tell me wherever in the world that it happens. Number two, there is no leader. There is no clear leader in the French side. There is no leader. A leader is someone who is out in the street with their sleeves folded up, with the jeans, rain, sun, people are dying, he's there, this happened, he's here, he's not sleeping, he's everywhere all the time. He galvanizes people, and people see it. Then people will have confidence in it. Because these French people, these Cameroonians have been traumatized. They have been betrayed for a very long time.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's have them fight for themselves at this moment, as Ambazonians have fought for themselves. Hello. 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 I guess my phones are jammed. Hello. 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 Hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Baron de Kumba.
Okay, 50 seconds. What is on your mind?
Waiting for my mind. I just see this image is what I look am now for where concern Bamenda. I just believe say the Bamenda, those that they do for Bamenda, they now on a foolishness, on a stupidness, on a poverty. They make their way, they go take back rights because of, or they go take food because of 7 years you want to give some person maybe on so it look very, very poor for I believe say if them where they be there for Bamenda, they look which way they be do after the election don't pass, then they will start say it's a very big disgrace to them to fund the open then. Because the way the Pobia don't do all the way the regime of President Pobia don't behave to be, we don't use we. Picking the run die. I believe some people they take that bag rice, so their family member they run die. Then they still go take bag rice, the best way now they make and they picking and die. Then they go take bag rice, take meat, take canoe oil until that man they really come for whole stick. An elderly person we and the two married way an elderly person who stick.
All right.
Another person they can take bag rice because they tanga the poor don't give them bag rice.
Right.
Vote for President Pobia. That's a very big disgrace to them.
Yeah, thank you for the call. Hello.
Hello, Comrade Chris.
This is Uncle B.
Yes, sir, the migration of Texas. I don't think something to say there. You see, all this marching on the streets, he has a bearing, but it's not going to take us anywhere, or it's not going to take them anywhere. And often we following by the shadow instead of the object. That guy who is bragging that he did the job, he didn't do the job. The people who did the job were those who collected the material from the polling stations. That was or the county commission. That's where the job. He simply read what was given to him.
Yeah, so but he is saying he was part of the collaborators. I mean, without him, would those who counted the results have announced it?
That's true, but that's still true that he finally